Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Wednesday, January 1st, 2020. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. In sports, change is cyclical. Sometimes new blood manages to creep in and breathe life into a division before we even realize what's happening. And if when you look back at what Dieu did in his debut back at the Romania Pro, you have to wonder if change is already happening right under our noses. At only 20 to 21 years old, the kid was easily as good as advertised against a group of athletes that were better than you might think if you go back and look at the lineup. Add that to the fact that we haven't seen men's physique athletes in their mid to late 30s placing top 5 in the Olympia, and it feels like we could be looking at the first wave of a new generation. Ray Edmonds and company might be what's happening now, but I think Dieu could be one of the faces of the future. I watched the college football playoffs last weekend, and Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence jump off the screen as two guys who passed the eye test for what a future franchise quarterback is supposed to look like. But do you know who else jumped off the screen this past weekend? Steve Laureus, because he's making a strong push to be the future of the franchise in classic physique. And at 10 weeks out from the Arnold, Steve is easily the best we've seen from him at this point in his prep. He's bigger, his conditioning is solid, and he's just more complete overall. Steve is passing the eye test right now, and a win in Columbus would go a long way towards elevating his position in the hierarchy of the division. I hear that when writers and musicians get into a flow state, hours feel like minutes while they dive deep into their creative process. Now, I don't know if the whole flow state thing directly translates to bodybuilding, but if it does, Jon Delarosa is definitely feeling the flow right now. This week, Jon's team released an update of his off-season progress that showed him sitting at a clean 270 pounds, which is the biggest he's been in a while. Rumor has it that Jon is tossing around the idea of competing somewhere next spring, which sounds like a potential New York Pro run to me. And if Jon is at his all-time best and hits the stage in front of his hometown crowd, there's a very real chance that we see him earn one of the biggest wins of his career. Every once in a while, I have one of those, oh yeah, I forgot how much I like that guy moment when I'm looking ahead to who might be competing in some of the shows. And I had one of those moments yesterday when I was trying to figure out if Sam Pearce is competing at the Arnold Australia. Sam's been back in the gym pushing some major weights again, and from what I can see, he's holding on to some pretty good size too. Every time I see him, I'm always impressed by what he brings to the table. So if we can get a slightly improved version of what he brought last year, he's someone I can see making a strong push for a top 5. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great New Year.